fraud is the most common type of crime in the UK. It affects millions of people every year.
Thanks to new rules, more scam victims are now getting their money back. Peter is here and can tell us more. So how is this happening? Morning, Peter.
Yeah, this is all about new rules. They came in about 18 months or so ago. They've been called game-changing, and these stats appear to show they may well be, actually. Good morning, everyone. We are talking here about what's called authorised push payment fraud. So that's when victims are tricked into willingly transferring money to a criminal. So we're not talking about when someone steals your card or hacks your account. What we are talking about, though, impersonation scams. So when criminals maybe pretend to be your bank, for example, investment opportunities, but they're actually fraudulent. Scams to buy products that don't exist. Romance scams. We talk about that a lot, where people fall for someone, send the money, but they are actually being robbed. And that's what happened to Kirsty. She lost thousands in a dating scam, and she told us last year about the impact it had on her.
I don't want to be a victim, I want to be a survivor, and I want to help people like me. People that don't have the courage to speak out, because I know how it feels and how devastating it really is. It is like being pulled into a black hole, and there's absolutely nothing you can do, you're just going down. There's nothing to hold on to.
Now, Kirsty isn't alone. According to UK Finance, which represents the banking industry, more than £250 million was lost in the first half of last year alone, lost to scams where people are persuaded to transfer their cash. But maybe lost is no longer the right word. That's because getting your money back wasn't always an easy task. But new rules, as I say, were brought in from October 2024. And those rules mean payment providers have to reimburse victims of authorised push payment fraud, as long as the bank doesn't think you're negligent. And the organisation that oversees these new rules said that in the first full year they were in place, more than £173 million was handed back to victims. Now, that works out at about 88% of all the cash people were scammed out of, much more than a year earlier.
Prevention is better than cure. So the FCA, the Financial Conduct Authority, has put in place a firm checker that people can use if they're investing money, and we would always encourage people to do that. We've worked with banks to improve their warnings to customers to make sure they're stepping up, giving people the protections that they need. The other thing we did a year ago was make it incumbent on the fraudster's bank to pay 50% of the claim. So the incentives on banks and payment firms to stop this happening in the first place are now significantly improved. But I would always encourage people to be vigilant, and we will keep watching, we will keep monitoring, and where we see firms not living up to our expectations, we will act.
Good news then, but the stress and worry can still be significant. And of course, there are things you can do to protect yourself before actually being scammed. So if you're making any payment whatsoever, just take a moment to stop and think, could it be fake? Only criminals will try to rush you or panic you. Do your research. Be suspicious of anything that sounds too good to be true. And if you are unsure at all, talk to a friend or a family member before parting with the cash. And of course, there's plenty of advice online too. I'm really keen to hear from you on this one. Have you benefited from these new rules that are in place and got your money back? Perhaps you've got some top tips to protect others from scams. Get in touch in all the usual ways. Details on the screen there. And John, Sally, I was mentioning these rules have been described as a game changer. It can actually be quite quick as well. So we're talking about 88% of the money lost being reimbursed to people within 5 business days of people making the claim. So you can get your money back, but as ever, the best way to protect yourself from a scam is not to fall victim to it.
Don't lose it in the first place.
Yeah.
Peter, thank you.